Hey guys, it's Shinmiri here, and we're back with another video deck guide, this time covering Bran Lippy. I've had so much fun playing this deck recently, and it's quite a competitive deck, but not necessarily tier 1. It has a really unique gameplay style, though. Most decks right now out there, they don't want to spend too many of their good cards in round 1. They kind of want to win or just get through round 1 by playing some of their bad cards and save all their good cards for the battle in round 3. Well, Lippy is kind of the opposite of that. Because of Lippy's ability that allows you to swap your graveyard with your deck, this deck actually wants to play only good cards in round 1 so that they can swap those good cards in round that you played in round 1 back into your deck and then replay them again in round 3. This really makes it feel like you're playing a super powerful deck. It almost feels like cheating because when you draw well and get those good cards in your hand in round 1, it's like playing a 200 provision deck. It's a lot of fun, and there's also some unpredictability with this deck because of Uma's Curse. Uma's Curse, sometimes you can even play it twice and get you some really crazy combos that you never expect. Let's talk about the leader choice a little bit, because most Lippy decks in the past have been Croc decks. Why are we playing Bran instead of Croc? Well, first of all, Bran got a big provision upgrade recently from 13 to 16, which is huge. You definitely want to be playing a leader with a lot of provisions when you play Lippy, because those provisions allow you to play extra gold cards, which will in turn get played twice because of Lippy's ability. Bran's ability to discard and thin extra cards is also really good for the consistency of this deck. It helps you dig deeper to find your Lippy by round 2, which is typically when you want to play him. And he also gives the option, but not the obligation, to discard cards if you find yourself with a hand that has an extra skirmisher, that when you don't have a way to discard him, he fixes that awkward situation for you. There's also a really interesting round 2 scenario that Bran can do that other leaders like Croc can't. So, for example, if your opponent won round 1, with Bran, if you have Lippy in hand in round 2, you can actually draw and keep Morkvarg in your hand in round 2 and save him if your opponent dry passes. But because you're going to play Lippy in round 2, normally your Morkvarg would be in your deck, and your Lippy would take your Morkvarg, put it in the graveyard, and that 5 tempo would just get wasted in round 2 when on the dry pass. With Bran, you can keep Morkvarg in your hand and have the option to discard him if your opponent pushes round 2. But if they don't push round 2, then you just keep Morkvarg in your hand and you discard him in round 3 for 5 free points, either on the leader or on Birna or something like that. So how about these two cards? These two specials, Viggo's Muzzle and Uma's Curse, are cards that you don't see in the meta anywhere else, but they're pretty good in this deck. I have actually really enjoyed playing these in this deck. Their hidden strength is that being a special, when you play them, they immediately go into your graveyard. So you can play them in the same round as Lippy, and you'll get to reuse them. And that doesn't hold true for units, because the units go to the board first. They would have to be killed in order for you to shuffle them back into your deck if it was the same round that you're going to play Lippy in. This helps a lot. Having the extra card in the graveyard helps a lot, because sometimes round 1 is too short, and if you Lippy in round 2 after a short round 1, you won't have enough cards in your deck, and you end up over-thinning from drawing 3 cards in round 3 and then playing cards like Birna, Scald, and perhaps Leader. So having the ability to put an extra card immediately into your graveyard is very helpful with over-thinning. Muzzle also, if you steal one of their really good cards, like, for example, Kyrenex with Muzzle, or Serret, then they go to your graveyard too. If you do it in round 1, they go into your graveyard after round 1. You get to reuse their opponent's good card as well. You can also do some like crazy stuff, like muzzle their Roach, muzzle their Morkvarg, and you get to replay those and discard Morkvarg again in round 3 for free points. Roach would come out the second time with Lippy Goodman as well. These sort of interactions are really, really cool to see. And you'll get to see some of these in the gameplay clips that follow after this. So, We can take a look at some of these other cards. Witchers are good for thinning. Witchers, you get to play them twice. Dimeridium Bomb, super cheap card, 4 provision card. We've seen a rise in artifacts in the meta, so I think Dimeridium Bomb is a card that you really can only play in Skellige, because again, if you're up against the artifact matchup, then they're helpful. If you're not up against the artifact matchup, you can just discard them. You can just put them in your graveyard with Lippy, and most of the time, you're going to be able to get a big chunk of these 4 provision bronzes from your deck into your graveyard on the turn that you play Lippy. So you're not too worried about having these 4 provision cards in your deck. You're never forced to play many of these. So, the mulligan phase. At the beginning of the game, the mulligan phase is actually super important for this deck. Because every good card in your hand in round 1 is amplified. It's basically like doubled, because when you play a good card in round 1, you're probably going to play it again in round 3. When you play a bad card in round 1, or you put a bad card into your graveyard with like discard in round 1, it's going to go back into your deck at the start when you play Lippy, and it's going to be back in your deck in round 3. So you really have to be careful about limiting the number of bad cards that end up in your graveyard at the end of round 1. So that's why mulligans matter even more for this deck, and that's why I recommend getting pretty greedy with your mulligans. Depending on how good your hand is, right? Typically, when you play a deck with Witchers and Roach, you don't want to take your last mulligan because you don't want to draw into these bricks. We still really don't want to draw into Roach, but it's actually okay for this deck to draw into 2 Witchers in round 1, because you can just play Witcher, one of them as 6 tempo in round 1, or 9 with the Roach, and then hold on to the second Witcher, because you can Lippy those 2 Witchers that you played back into your deck for later, and then use the second Witcher that you had in your hand to pull them back out again. Let's see here. We have a couple of interesting considerations with this deck that you don't really have to think about when you play other decks. Overthinning is kind of one of the major ones. One thing that you have to really keep track of, which is what makes this deck kind of hard to play, is how many cards are you going to thin after you play Lippy? How many cards you're going to thin out of your deck after you play Lippy, and make sure that you don't overthin. So usually you play Lippy in round 2. You're going to have 3 natural draws at the start of round 3. Then you're going to have like 1 or 2 Bran to thin, and then depending on if you have Birna or Heimiscald in your hand, or Birna or Heimiscald still left in, from your graveyard going back into your deck, you're going to be thinning more. So just make sure you don't overthin, and make sure you don't, if you are overthinning, you can like maybe not Bran, or maybe use Birna to discard Scald, or play, hold off on your Lippy until you play more special cards or put something else into your graveyard. Sometimes you're going to be Lippying in round 3, and this really depends on the situation. You have to adapt to your hand and the situation. If you have a lot of good cards left in your deck, and quite a few bad cards in your graveyard after round 1, it might be better to just Lippy in round 3 as a 10 tempo play. The Lippy is a 10 tempo play if he brings out Morkvarg. If Morkvarg is in your deck and Roach is in your graveyard, he's a 10 tempo play, which is quite good for a 10 provision card, even if you're not really taking advantage of his swap graveyard with deck ability. Some tech choices that you can put in this deck are, you can still play Croc. If Croc has a couple advantages over Bran, is that he's more points than Bran, if you're not counting the consistency part of it, and he activates Bloodthirst better, which allows you to play cards like Donar and Hindar, Jenge Fret. Like we don't play Jenge Fret, which is a cheaper version of Doragary, because it's sometimes hard for us to get that Bloodthirst 1. Croc helps with Dim and Pirate Captains. And the other thing that you can do is you can play Blue Dream. Blue Dream is another good special in this deck because, again, specials go into your graveyard immediately. It's got its downsides too, though. Blue Dream is a card that you typically can't play in round 1, or you don't want to play in round 1, because your opponent's not going to be playing too many good cards in round 1 that you can kill. And when it prevents you from playing a good card in round 1, it might force you to play a bad card, which is then amplified again because of Lippy. So that's it for the guide part of this video. We have 2 games for you guys after this. The first game really highlights how strong Lippy's effect is and how he allows you to effectively play 200 provision deck when you draw well. The second game, while it uses a slightly different deck list than the one that I showed you here, it really shows the potential power and fun of high rolling Uma twice in one game and what some crazy combos that you can get with that card. So that's it for me. Hope you guys have a great night. You can find my Twitch and Twitter info down below. I stream weekdays at 7 p.m. CET, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll see you next time. Good night. All right, here we go. More Bran. We're on red. This is great. Red coin is really great for Lippy because you get the power to just keep slamming high power golds, and they have to keep up with your tempo so that they don't lose on even. We don't want D-bomb. I think I'm willing to take the risk here. This is like always a really bad card. That's fine. So we can threaten to win on even. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 good cards for sure. And then we can cycle 2 cards, one with Bran and one with Scald, to discard both of these. And then we probably on average draw like 1 more good card. And then I think we play the Marauder as well.
Ariel's been chosen. The gods speak to him.
We could muzzle the Roach. That denies him 3 carryover in round 3 off the Asir, and then also gives us 3 more points whenever we play our Lippy.
Judge!
Thinking about buffing it. Buffs it to an 8. Okay. So we just Witchers here. We Witchers here. When this goes to a 9, we'll Uma's Curse. Give us the highest probability of killing this.
Tomfoolery! Enough!
We want to try to keep up tempo so that he doesn't find a good pass. One weakness that Lippy has is if your opponent passes really early in round 1 without losing on even, then you don't have a big graveyard, and then you don't really want to Lippy in round 2 with such a small graveyard. I think the Herald deck is pretty good, but maybe off stream? Yeah, maybe. Would you consider Kambi in this deck for a finisher with Morkvark? No, Kambi is not a card that you want to play more than once, usually. You only just want to play it once at the end of round 3. So it's bad in a Lippy deck, because Lippy decks, you want your win conditions to be cards that are played twice. You want to be able to play it in round 1 and be able to play it in round 3 again. You can do premiums now? Yeah. Zerfidius, thanks for a reminder. Alright, this does get us ahead, so I think we'll do it. And we don't need to Bran yet, because I don't think he'll pass. When he's down on even, I don't think he's going to pass. That's why he plays Uma on stream. Exactly. Like, you can't stop me from high rolling Uma. You don't know what I'm going to get with Uma, so how can you snipe me, right? It's the ultimate anti-sniper counter. We don't really intend on playing these 2 cards, I think. Even though this is activated right now.
To work!
Okay, he's slowing down. He's slowing down, which is really dangerous for him. All right, Uma, let's see it. Do your thing. Rip. Oh, man, rip. We want to play a D-bomb? Oh, Jesus Christ, this is bad. Nice Uma value. Okay, it's okay. We're gonna win even with the 4-point Uma. No worries. We're gonna brand now so that we maintain the lead.
Nothing like some overseas plundering.
Give one charge to Roach. We still got Uma again, yeah. We're gonna high roll Uma in round 3, no problem. This plays for 7. Ifrit. Okay. So we needed 9 to get ahead right now. Can't really do it. So I think what we'll do is we'll Scald. This is 8. So he could get a pass, but we're gonna Scald onto Skirmisher. If he passes, we can muzzle like the Roach, and then we can push him in round 2. Muzzle the Roach, get extra carryover for round 2. Or we could also muzzle the Ifrit and just get another good card into our deck. I think the way we decide which one we do, the way we decide which one we actually steal is if we need the extra card or not, if we're gonna overthin or not. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 real cards in our graveyard. If we after we play the muzzle, we'll have 8. So we don't really need this. And Roach is better. It denies him the carryover as well. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. Do 2 Roaches pop from the deck when you play Lippy? Yes, scriptwriter, it does. That's one of the really cool things about Muzzle in this deck, is you get to steal all sorts of interesting cards. You get to steal their good golds, you get to steal Roach, you get to steal Witchers, which is also like 3 carryover in round 3, and you get to steal Morkvarg against Skellige. Alright, pretty good top decks. Like, we drew every good card out of our deck, so this was a very lucky game. We can Lippy now for 13 points. Like, we have an amazing hand. I think we could try to 2-0 him. We could push this. We could push this round really far if we wanted to.
My crumpled ground steps livelier than yous.
Let's do a quick check of how much we're thinning. We have 11 cards in the deck. We're thinning 2 with Witchers. So that's down to 9. Then 1 with this, that's 8. Then 5 after we draw 3. And then 2 more from this and 2 more from this. So we're thinning to 1. 13 tempo Lippy. Dude, that's insane, right? No, they changed it so that when you lock something, when a locked card goes from your graveyard back into your deck, it unlocks now. That was changed in the most previous patch. How do we want to deal with this? I could either kill it with Karnex or I could lock it. I think I'd rather save a lock for something like, perhaps like an Ockfist. But I also want to save a Karnex for his Karnex. You know? Yeah, I want to save Karnex for his Karnex so that he doesn't get a really strong... So that he doesn't get a really strong unicorn.
They're dead already.
He has Ox in hand. Okay. We could oof it in now. It still plays for a 7. That's not too bad. We'll be up 13 points. He would have to play 10 plus his leader. Doesn't have a good blue dream right now. I think that's fine. Just give him the 6-point Peter. He can just buff his Cairo to 6. That's true. That is true. So, I mean, that means that what we really want to do is we want to play Unicorn first then, right? We play Unicorn first so that if he... No, then he Kairos our Unicorn, then buffs it to 6, and I still can't kill it. So what we really want to do is we want to force one of his Unicorns out this round. We want to force either Kyrenex or Unicorn out this round so that he has to separate them between the 2 rounds. And as soon as he plays a Unicorn or Kyrenex, we pass. Hey, it looks sooner rather than later. So now we can pass. Because I can't answer this, but now he kind of wastes his Unicorn if he uses Unicorn now. And we still have both of ours. And when he plays his Unicorn in round 3, we can even potentially muzzle it. And we'll have 2 Unicorns.
Bow before Nilfgaard's rightful
False
empress.
Siri. For the anti-artifact meta. I like it. Alright, draw Witcher. Excellent. Do we need the Scald? I don't think we need the Scald. I would mulligan this. Oh. Well, I can't risk this anymore. I think Scald and Odrin are about the same. They're probably both 4 points. Take Witcher first.
I'm in no mood to talk.
So we have like 3 bad cards left. Shoop. Okay.
Shoop, painty smear Gwenty card.
Get Steel 9,
Thank
of course.
Yeah, yeah.
What do we have in here? He still has Ox that he didn't play. I wonder if he held on to that. So I'm thinking if we play our Scal now. We can stack the range row to play around Spearman, Alba Spearman, because we know that he's a Shoop deck. They usually play Alba Spearman in that deck. We're gonna Bran the Skirmisher, see what we draw, and then play Birna. We always want to Bran first and play Birna last if possible. Wait, what's he putting back into his deck? He put his Kyrenex back into his deck. Is he able to draw it again? I think not, right? Unless maybe if he plays Vicovaro Novice, he might have a chance to draw it again. Like I was saying, you always want to play Birna last because you want to make sure that you have the ability to discard the cards that you draw. So, he played Kyrenex and he played Ifrit. How does he kill our Unicorn? How does he kill our Unicorn slash Kyrenex? I actually don't know if he can. I think... We have last say. I'm gonna muzzle this. I'm gonna muzzle this because I don't want to play more discard and then mess up my muzzle target. And I don't know if he necessarily kept the Ox. And I don't actually want to muzzle the Ox because it gives Leo more value because it's a Witcher. And he killed all my Witchers, so his Leo is currently dead. There's the Blue Dream, but it's not that good. Plays the Blue Dream for 7, which is it's relatively weak. Now we Beer. We probably just save Karnax for last, or second to last. Karnax second to last, and then Unicorn last. So that, because we have last say, he can't react with Peter or Leo. For the Unicorn.
You stand before the Queen of Skellige.
Oh, so awkward. Oh, we don't want the Scald, because we can draw into this. Too bad we didn't get Uma's Curse. It would have been nice to draw Uma's Curse and Skirmisher. So I think what we're going to do is just going to discard these two, and then we're going to have to play the Odrin as 4.
Nothing like some overseas plundering in springtime.
Co-op over? Yeah, Spider Chicken, co-op's over. I gotta change the title. There's the Ox. Alright, it's fine.
What?
Let's play our Odrin.
Who are you?
I mean, we're up 3 points. If you consider his leader, we're up 3 points, and we have 20 coming in. I don't think he can really answer this.
Of my folk.
Oh, wow. Willem for the Karnax. I think we still win, right? He gets his boost on Unicorn, but so do I. We both get 12 points. And then we win. And then we win by 3. Yeah. Willem. That's pretty decent for Morvran, actually. You have the ability to put a good gold back into your deck with a Seer like he just did and have a high roll chance of getting it. Willem can also play Shoop. Like you can play Willem instead of like an Albrick as an additional way to get your Shoop if you don't draw into it. That was a nice game. We just outvalued him really hard in round 3. With the high quality hand that we started with carried over from round 2 and all the good cards that we drew into with Lippy again. That was a really good presentation of how Lippy deck's supposed to work. I want to get greedy and throw something else away like this. Winter Switcher. Playing the boat doesn't allow us to kill a 3-point engine with anything cheap, so I'm not going to play the boat. Like, we could have boated and then Beerned, but then we can't Beerned without playing Witchers, so it's whatever. Probably just Ifrit here, I think. We just want to play good cards. We already have the Lippy in hand.
Sure, no problem.
Good game. Have you seen my taco? I think it's a bug. I like. I'd have to look up the card text of Pitfall Trap again, but I think it's a bug. Hey, Uma's Curse.
In the way of me axe.
Hey, listen here. Listen well.
Crack and eat me ghoulies. Looky here.
I don't really want him to pass yet.
Of course, as you wish, master.
Yeah, he's probably passing. He's playing crap now. So we play Uma's Curse. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 cards in the deck. 4 cards in the graveyard. So I think we play Uma's Curse and put 2 more cards in the graveyard this way. Rather than playing Kyrenex, I'd rather hold on to the Kyrenex. Okay. Alright, what are we doing? Oh shit. This puts 3 cards in the graveyard. Holy fuck. I mean, I think we do it, right? I think I'm gonna play it for the back row. I want the companion in my graveyard instead of...
Well played.
I want the companion in my graveyard instead of the agitator. Even though agitator does more damage here, I don't need the points in round 1. Companion in my graveyard makes more sense because I get to control how I row stack. And I can't control how my opponent row stacks. Yeah, it's better to have the Buffy Parrot in the deck. How does this deck compare with Croc Lippy? I haven't played Croc Lippy recently. If Wasubi's in the chat or Nurgard's in the chat, they might know better. Uma's Curse! Creating 3 cards! 3 cards for the price of 1. Holy crap. That is a massive Uma's Curse. Let's get rid of some crap. We're gonna miss Unicorn. Kinda sad. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards in the graveyard. We draw 3. We thin 2. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we thin to 0. Thin to 0 with 4 discards. We discard 1, 2, 3. No, sorry, 1, 2, no, 5 discards because of the scalp. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
My crumpled ground steps livelier than yous.
We're gonna stack. Which row are we gonna stack? We want a long round 3, right? Since we have Zoltan and we have Companion, we want a long round 3. Oh no!
Please. I shall now speak.
Oh, that's fine. Who needs that? Who needs a 3-point Witcher? Come on. Like, I thought he was gonna get rid of our Zoltan or something. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. You know, since he played 4 tempo here, we could push him. How many bodies can we get in round 3? I definitely need to Bran. What's our worst card gonna be? What if we kill this guy and then res him? That's not worth it. That's not worth it.
Now that's the kind of negotiating I understand.
I just thin these out now. And then we can stack the front. These go to the front. His Traherne didn't actually... His Traherne didn't actually thin anything for us. Or it didn't, like, make us overthin, because we would have thinned that Witcher out anyways. I can't play Bjorna now, because I need to save Bjorna for after I draw the Skirmishers. He needs a 5 to get ahead. Jenge. We have a 9-point Asir on Blue Dream. I think I'm okay with passing now. He plays Vico Varo Novice, so he's gotta be Shoop, right?
No door is closed to me.
Okay. So we thin to 1 because he put a garbage in our deck. That's actually pretty annoying. Within the one, so we might not draw our Zoltan. Gross.
Order will triumph. It must triumph.
We have Umas again. Do we just take the Asir? What if we Asir and put Unicorn back into our deck? Is that worth it? Probably not. We have 3 discards. We discard 1 here. 2, 3. Maybe one of these. I'm thinking we just lead off with Asir. I can't start off with Birna yet. This might be early. I don't like the fact that this went on range row. Was hoping that Roach would go on melee row. Gives him the early shoot though. That's kind of bad.
Human shoop say!
He's gonna high roll hand buff. Oh, okay, then I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we're stacking melee row. We're gonna go Bran.
Nothing like some overseas
Into Birna.
plundering in springtime.
So be it.
Nice. Okay, I can deal with this. So do we want Longship or do we want Pirate Captain? We're probably gonna get Bloodthirst too. Longship is probably better, I think. Pirate Captain is 1 more point. Pirate Captain is 1 more point. Does Longship help us with anything? If it doesn't die or it doesn't get locked, I think we're gonna go Pirate Captain actually. Played Roach 3 times this game, yeah.
Get in the way of me act.
That's always nice.
Beast or man makes no difference to me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can put 8 more units in the front row. So it's gonna be filled. If he kills one of them, it's still gonna be filled. This is annoying. Okay. He's probably not gonna go that tall. But we could just play the Ufadin. I can't play this. I was gonna play this last turn. But he got rid of the Bloodthirst. Am I planning on playing the Queen of Engines today? Probably not, Kondrat. There are VODs from a week ago that I played the deck, I think like 2 days in a row with great success. So you can check those. I think it's from like February, like end of January or very early February. I think it was like January 31st and February 1st were the dates. Who am I into Germain? I'm gonna take the Pirate Captain now while we can.
Won't pay us in gold.
I'm trying to avoid giving him too much Peter value or too much slave infantry value. Do I have a good Arnold deck? No, I don't. I was thinking about Arnold Lippy. I was actually thinking about Arnold Lippy. But I don't think it's as good as Croc or Bran. There's a slave infantry. Alright. I want to wait until he gets a little bit more power on the board before I take Uma. I think we just Jenge right now. I'm trying to save these two for his Kyrenex.
Haven't got all day.
Give myself a Vanamar out. So he's killing the body. He's valuing killing the body more than getting full value, which is smart of him because he knows that we have Duda Companion and the Scoundrel. He's removed quite a few bodies from our board right now. We're probably going to be able to stick like... we're probably going to be able to stick 5 or 6 bodies this row. I think. Buffing this up tall. That's always strange to me. Why do that? It gives me a good Uma target. Hey, Checkmate 50, thank you so much for using your free Twitch Prime sub on me this month. Welcome to the Rope Club. Glad you're enjoying the stream, my friend. Jermaine from Uma. It could happen.
There is no escape.
Alright, it's time. What do we got? Oh! Oh! We got 3 humans. We have 3 humans. We have Ockfist. He just uses Ox. Ockfist is worth... Yeah, like I could get another body if I go Revenant, right? Oh my god! Wait, Draug into 3 humans and get more bodies for the... Oh my god, that's so sick!
Ha!
You're worth the trouble.
We enter the fray. Hopefully no Gimpy. Hopefully he doesn't have Gimpy still in his hand. If he Gimpys us all, I would be so sad. We'd lose 2 bodies, and he'd get quite good tempo on his Gimpy. Oh my god, that's hilarious. The Ockfist wasn't bad either. Ockfist was 11. Because, or maybe even more, 12? After he plays a unit.
I strive above all to be just.
Oh my god. Oh, he's actually... Oh, this is kind of smart. Okay. Hold on now. Is it better to Zoltan Scoundrel first? It's better to Zoltan Scoundrel first and then shoot myself and give myself an extra body for Duda Companion, right?
Double chase.
I'm gonna use this one because I think he might have Leo. I don't think offensive was as good. Offensive, I missed 2 bodies. Like if I go offensive, I get 8 damage instead of 12. And then I can triple shoot. Triple shoot to kill one would be okay. I think either way, both of them are really good. I think this one is a little bit better. We get 4 more points.
I could use a pint.
Oh man. That's so funny. That is so fucking hilarious. Holy Jesus. Oh god, that's hilarious. Oh man. Uma is so fun. Dude, Uma is so freaking fun. I don't know if it's the most competitive card, but it gets some really interesting. It's kind of like playing constructed with a little splash of arena, you know? You just get like all these different wild possibilities that you never would have expected.